Welcome to the meeting point. My name is Michael Ikogu. The issue of land allocation, land possession has become a major challenge in the continent of Africa, particularly Nigeria. This is a result of the activities of land racketeers who oftentimes play their claims after selling a particular parcel of land to an individual. They go on again to sell to another client, unknown to the latter that the land has been sold. This has become a major challenge in Nigeria, particularly in Delta State. And that is the reason we are bringing this topic to be discussed today, because the meeting point have had so many complaints about what has been going on, particularly in the capital city of Asaba and Envrons, of the activities of land racketeers, land vendors, and even what they call the fair boys. We will be looking at, in this episode of the meeting point, land racketeering in Asaba, Envrons, and challenges of development. I have two gentlemen in the studio to help do justice to this topic. By my immediate left is the chairman, Non-Indigenous Association of Delta State, Asaba branch, Chief Engineer Joseph Obi. Chief Obi, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Yes.
We also have in the studio Mr. Abagidi, barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
Thank you for having me in the show tonight.
You are very much welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Let me start with you, Chief Obi. How will you describe the situation of possession of land in Delta State?
Thank you. The land acquisition in Delta State ordinarily is following the normal rule, the normal system of land acquisition as it affects the acquisition of permanent properties. But I must have to tell you that Delta State is a very good destination for anybody to acquire land, build and reside. It's a very peaceful state. In fact, the governor, Dr. Ifeanyi had tried very well to make Delta State a peaceful area. But then, the problem of people in the state, the Opanam and Ibuzo and Asaba indigents, what they are doing to unsuspected buyers or developers is very, very horrible. It's unprecedented. One cannot, it's better to imagine. But then, I want to say that the police has a major role to play. A major role to make sure that these boys or men, some of them answer big name, some answer bishop, some answer funny name, some even answer a name that is far above their self. So I think the best thing is that the police should also play a major role to protect them.
And we will get to what role the various agencies should play.
Okay.
The government, the police, the individuals, even the communities. We'll get to that. Barrister, you heard what Chief Obi said. There's one major challenge, and people have mentioned before now, the Land Use Act, that it has affected the acquisition of land in Nigeria, and Delta State cannot be left out of this challenge that has as a result of the Land Use Act. How will you address that issue of Land Use Act of is it decree 1978 or so?
It's decreed in 90. The law was passed 1978, Land Use Act of 1978. 1978 by the military administrations. It's about 34, 35 years ago. It was really in advance because I think the government thought it fit then that we should not live in Serengeti, in South Africa, where all animals has their own boundary, they walk towards it. Now, in a civilized world, the Land Use Act placed the land in trust and administration of the governor. The land is vested on the state government, the state governor, in trust for the administration of the communal land, all the lands in every various states. And what is interplaying here is that after that law, it is expected that the government will take another advanced step. 34 years, many things will have happened, which the government has tried to meet up to the challenge, but they say a lot to be done. As it affects every state across the entire country, except some few areas in Lagos, where this thing is reduced to the minimum. That's a question.
Okay, what are challenges that is associated with the Land Use Act of 1978? Can you tell us some of the challenges?
The challenges is that I think as at then, they've not started this, there's no cadastral. Cadastral would have been the best system to use.
No, when you say cadastral,
cadastral surveying.
Okay.
Yeah, cadastral surveying. That each land would have been registered. The general surveying of all the entire lands, all the boundaries will be known, so that by the time you go and buy a land, you will survey it. You go to the cadastral office to find out if this land has been bought by somebody else or not. The serious defect in the Land Use Act, because the Land Use Act encourages whoever that is buying to go and obtain a C of O. But I think there should be a stopgap. The stopgap should have been, look, when you buy, the first thing you do is go and register it with a minimum amount. Then the cadastral would have captured it. By the time another person comes and buy his own again, he has the survey plan. He will go to the cadastral office to find out if this my survey plan is encumbered. That means somebody else must have registered it. Then yours will not go in again. Then those conflicts would have been reduced, I think, to a great part. Okay. That is what the Land Use Act did not envisage. They said you just go register and obtain your C of O. No, there should have been a stopgap, a stage where by the time I buy the land, I go maybe pay 50,000, it is registered. It's not the C of O, that's the first stage. To stop any other person that is going there to go and resurvey the same land. If we go and resurvey the land, a surveyor can survey this one and the same land 20 times for 20 buyers. That's the problem. If we have a place where the buyers will be shared, racketeering will be reduced.
Okay, but the cadastral we're talking about now, is it not in existence in Nigeria?
Well, Abuja has a cadastral system. I think they use it in data. I think with the coming of OCOA, a lot has been done. There's a fast track to fast track the CFO. I think that is good too, but that has not cured that defect of racketeering.
Okay.
But if I buy a land, I've surveyed it, then I now need to go to land cadastral this thing to go and find out if someone else have surveyed that same land before.
Yeah.
If you have surveyed it before, I won't buy.
Okay. Engineer B, what do we want to say land racketeering?
Land racketeering is when a land has been sold to a particular person, and after that, people or some persons will just group themselves together to come and lay claim and resell the same land that had been sold before. That is racketeering. And that is not helping development in the state. It's making developers to be afraid of developing or investing in Delta State, especially Asaba and East Envrons. Because this problem is really, if you go to police headquarters, you will see a lot of cases pending. Go to court, it's land matters. Because most of these youths had no job to do. Some of them did not go to school. They don't even know how to write their names. And they refuse to learn work as other places. So because of unemployment and all this and that, and not even wanting, because there's a lot of money in land grabbing. They move from bush to bush with the Okada. If you see most of them, they look responsible. But when you see their acts and behavior, you find out that these people are, in fact, they are nothing to write home about. So that is land racketeering.
Okay. Does it really exist in Asaba and Envrons?
Oh, my brother, I have even been a victim. I am a victim already. You see, when a man will buy a land, build a house, people have been living for years, and possibly for one reason or the other, you sell out the property, and the man wants to develop, possibly build an upstairs, maybe a better structure. Then you see these boys from nowhere who come up and sell the land because nobody is in the compound again. That is the problem. That is what is existing everywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
But in 2018, the governor of Delta State signed into law what they call anti-development law, popularly known as DEVE. Does that law not take care of land racketeering and all that is associated with it?
That law actually did not touch that racketeering thing. The racketeering, what breeds the racketeering is the seller, the ability for the seller to encumber that same land over and over, or relationship is relation. People from the same village, the same quarter, the same surname, reselling that same land. It can only be reselled because there's nowhere the prospective buyer will go and verify if that land belongs to this person. You'll be shocked that because of the money involved, even the Diopas, who are the custodian of the land for the family, two now got enticed. You go and ask the Diopa will tell you, yes, they are the owner of the land, we allotted it to him because they've agreed to give him something. So that law actually only helps those who are developing at the moment. As it is now, it's survival of the fittest. Is the strongest person that can develop his land. So if you are strong, you are able to acquire the land, then the second stage is this DEVE, which the government have come to outlaw, that there should be no DEVE. If they come and disturb you at your site, there's a task force. Report to the task force. The task force will carry out action. Fine. What these people who are coming for DEVE are collecting are minimal. It's not really affecting the populace like buying the land where you spend millions and somebody else reselling it again. Now they end up first in the police before the court. At the end of the day, they are just empowering the police, knowing fully well that police does not have a final say on land matters. The same police department will have two IPO investigating the same man. There is really no real sincerity in it.
Okay, before I come for you to share your experience on how in the hands of these land racketeers, the anti-DEVE law we are talking about now, how effective is it in Delta State? Because if it is effective, there are also complaints here and there that the DEVE boys are all over the bush, attacking people who are, developing their property and collecting various some amount of money from them.
The law is there. Maybe the task force they have on place is not the work. They need more hands because Development is going on in Okpanam. It's a vast area. They have Amasha. People are developing. You have a Buzo. Even Ashali Buzo Road. People are developing. Before the task force will get there, the boys would have done the damage. And you know, it will take time for you to get them arrested. So to that point, they will not be effective. But that there is even a law, there is even something to hold on. In that area, I think we should give the government.
Okay. But what we are canvassing is that more hands should be engaged for them to be able to cover enough areas.
Yes.
It's not only in Asaba or Okpanam. The law is supposed to be for both all the 25 local governments in Delta State.
Yes. Yes.
You understand? So what we are talking about Asaba, which means the tax force should, be replicated in all the local governments, if possible, in all the villages and towns for effective coverage of the state.
Yes, like that. I think we are talking about Asaba because the rate is higher in Asaba than elsewhere. It's higher in Asaba than Warri elsewhere. If you look at it too, in Asaba, it's only one task force that is covering Asaba, Igbuzo, and all those places. They don't have the manpower to go around. Okay. I'm sure the manpower issue is a serious.
Okay, those who are responsible for the setting up the task force, I think they are listening to us and with a view to engaging more hands for real impact on the coverage of the areas assigned to them. Can you tell us your experience and the mode of operation of these land racketeers?
It's a very funny experience, and a lot of non-indigenous are suffering this.
No, I don't think it's exclusive to non-indigenous, because I also have
you're an indigenous.
The experience. I'm an indigenous.
Yes,
indigenous of the state. I'm not an indigenous of Asaba.
Yeah, but
whatever that affects somebody from Enugu will also affect me, because I'm not an indigenous.
Yes.
So it's not exclusive for non-indigenous.
Yes, the land racketeering, the boys' modus operandi is very, very funny, dicey. They will come to tell you that their fathers, the land belongs to their community. They will show you one funny document or the other, or bring a location paper or the other. And just like Barrister Abagidi has said, they will just bring one old man because of poverty and unknown to not being able to know the implication of the law as against what they are doing. The old man will attest that so person is the owner of the land and you should buy. And when you look at the man with white hair, the man at his age, most cases, some of them are about 80 years, 80-something years, 70 years, and they look responsible. And you see, when you look at them, you feel that, yes, you can do, you are in the right hand. But at the end of the day, you discover that the land you just bought has been sold to another person. In most cases, 3 times, 3 different places. Where I have my tenant house, the same thing happened. The land was sold to 3 people. And by the grace of God, I was the first person who bought it. And the case went on even to the court. I think it's Abagidi that even followed me to the court, and the matter was struck out. And the court said, Obi is the owner of the land. But I must tell you something that is happening currently. The Okpanam and Ibuzo had an issue, a very serious issue that went up to Supreme Court. From High Court to Appeal Court in Benin to Supreme Court. And as luck may have it on the side of Ibuzo won the case. And in 2000, the case won the case in 2006. But some of us that bought land immediately after 2006, when we start building, nobody came to tell us that stop building this land. There is a judgment in favor of Ibuzo. We finished building, and some of us had lived there for over 10 years. Some lived for 15, 13, 14 years. And all of a sudden, Ibuzo surfaced. But what can a man do in a such situation? They presented a Supreme Court judgment. We obliged them and said, we are ready to regularize as the case may be. And we did. Some of us have done. Some are still unable to do because of the rate of poverty and hardship in the country. And you will also be surprised that after regularizing, you have a structure, a building, Possibly you have a need to give out the building, and somebody who acquired the building, possibly wanting to erect an upstairs, like in my own case, and then all of a sudden, after demolishing the house, preparing the ground to build, some persons will go and resell the land. But I want to tell you something, that thank God for a man like Chief Fred Ajudua, Onwa of Ibuzo. He's a wonderful man. He has done great things at bringing peace, especially in Airport View and Marble Hill area. Each time there is this kind of problem and you are able to see Onwa, Chief Fred Ajudua, he will come in and make sure that justice is done. He is a man of justice, and anybody that sees him anywhere should give him honor. He deserves it. He is a great man. And even in my own case, I called him and he intervened and said that, yes, this place belongs to Obi, and please, you people, even he talked to the police and asked them to leave that place for Obi. It's Obi's land. And the man who has resold that place should go and find a land and give to his client. He said that. And I was very impressed. To get such a man, it takes the heart of a gold. So I salute Agafre Bajuda, I salute you.
Okay, well, the case in question, how did it end? How did it end?
Yes, the police has done their investigation to an extent and discovered that the man who sold it had no right, not equitable right even, no single right to resell such a property. That's a property that has been existing for over 7 years with a building before Ibuzo came up in 2019 with a Supreme Court judgment. And this property has been existing since 2016. The building has been, people have been living there. So that is, now police has said, you people that have just bought, please stay away from that land, and the property should be given to the right person, which is the Mountain of Fire that bought the place.
Okay.
And it is just because Ibuzo has a man like Chief Fred Ajudua, who is a man of honor. He intervened immediately at the right time, and he called a spade, and give justice to whom it is due to.
Okay. The barrister, what is the position of the law with this situation? Maybe you sold the land to somebody and resell to another person, or somebody that does not have any relationship with the land, coming from outside to sell the land to another person. What does the law say about that?
Well, in the first place, if you don't have a relationship with the land, if you are not the owner of the land, that means you don't have anything to sell. So if you don't have anything to sell, you don't have anything to convey. That's the position of the law. So a diligent buyer, a very diligent buyer, should carry out the investigation thoroughly to know if this person I'm buying from is the rightful person. What we suffer from land racketeering, the thing has shifted from Asaba because they've almost exhausted all their land to Okpanam. The unsuspecting buyer will come to Okpanam, and the first person they will meet is the youth, whose address they don't even know. You part away with millions, they give you a portion of land, only to discover that the person who is selling this land to you is not even related to the land or from that area. Then you have lost millions of naira. The next thing, after losing all those money, you now go to the police. The police, going to the police, they will consult their lawyer. The lawyer will write petition to police to arrest the people. That's not the way. The law says police. In fact, police does not determine who the ownership. They should have gone to the court rather than going to the police. And the police are taking advantage of these unsuspecting buyers and get them further rip off them from money from them. Because the police will take money from you to get your petition approved. They will demand to mobilize them to go and carry out an investigation. At the end of the day, they will still tell you where you have to go to court. At the end of the day, you have made double expenses, pouring more salt on injury. I'm telling you, 50% of the buyers will just withdraw and say, let the money go. And it's not good for a state like Asaba, capital. It's not good news. It's not a palatable news.
Okay.
Yes, I want to decide. Okay, I want to deviate a little from what the barrister is saying. I have a different opinion about what he had just said about police. I think as a civilian, as a man who knows the police very well, and who has associated with them for some time, I want to tell you that within the police, there will have been bloodshed constantly at various points, especially when it comes to this land acquisition. Yes, the law says lashes and acquisition, buyers beware. Buyers beware. If buyers try to do their investigation to a large extent and they are being convinced by the people or the persons that are selling the land, buyers will normally, they are desperate buyers, they will normally want to buy. But if there is a matter, somebody has encumbered in your land, possibly break the fence, sell the land, or damage the things there, if you don't go to police, will you pick cutlass, will you pick gun? Police is the first point to go. When you go to police, at least police will dance tension. The man will not even have heart attack. The man will not pick a gun or a cutlass or go to fight. So police will control the situation and say, everybody suspend the work, let's investigate and look at it holistically. And in most cases, I can tell you, police will look at it holistically. They will say, this land belongs to this person based on evidence before us. So you go out of the land, but if you think you have a case, then go to court. They will direct the other party who had no right over that property to go to civil court. And if you have caused damages or caused problems in the land, the police also reserve the right to charge you to court because of criminal trespass, malicious damage, and all such type of laws. The police, by extension, is empowered to drag you to court and prosecute you. That's my own different opinion.
Okay. What is the role of the traditional rulers in this case?
Good.
Because without every community, whether you have a king or the Oparuku, particularly in this part of the Delta state, what is the role of the community leaders?
Yes.
Do they get involved?
Yes.
Are they corporates? What role have they played? Have they mediated to see that such lands are returned to the rightful owners?
Good. I want to tell you my experience with my experience as a chairman of Airport View Estate for 2 tenure, chairman landlord association. We have over 1,000 landlords, and I am their chairman. So in most cases, when co-landlords have such problems, and we go to Opanam, I want to tell you that the traditional ruler, His Royal Air Highness, Dr. Obolu, I think, to be fair, he is a man of honor. He will always follow the matter, call the parties involved, and bring peace. Especially, he will always tell you, please, this land has been sold by Mr. A. Now, it is not your land. Look at how it is. Look at how it is. Let the land be given to the man who bought it. The traditional rulers, or the traditional ruler of Opanam that I have had interactions with, that in most cases I've been at his palace to help mediate and resolve land matters. The traditional ruler has always acted diligently and like a father of the community. He is a straightforward man, a wonderful traditional ruler. He doesn't compromise. He cannot compromise. He will always call a spade a spade. So I think their role is also wonderful. But most of I want to tell you that most of the buyers, because of desperation, will always be thinking that because the person who sold the land to you is an opponent man, then you will think that the traditional ruler or the Israel council, His Royal Majesty, will not give you justice because you are not from Delta State. No. So that is why most of them quickly run to the police. And especially in a situation where a structure, a building have a foundation has been dug in the land, and you will think that if you don't rush to the police to stop them, the project will continue. Yeah. So the best place to go at that point is to run to the police. If you run to the court, it's an error. Because before you get a stay of execution, before you get injunction and all that, restraining them from continuing the project, the man will have even packed into the project because of our judicial system. It's not really fast. So that is why people are encouraged, especially me, I encourage people to run to the police first. Don't fight. Don't kill anybody. Don't commit murder. Go to the police, and police will actually do justice. I know there are also bad acts in the police, but I want to tell you that to a large extent, I give it to police, especially Delta State Police Command. They are doing a good job.
Okay, but Barrister, well, what, in your own opinion, has this act of land racketeers and the very collectors contributed to the underdevelopment of the state?
Well, they've not brought, they've made the environment not conducive for developers and investors to come in. They've caused a lot of issues that discourage external investors to come in and invest, and thereby providing means of employment to the people, especially the indigenous. And the artisan who lives on daily income, the activities has greatly affected them. Because if development is going on progressively like that, I think each building employs a lot of workers, artisans, bricklayers, helpers, welders, and so on. They are coming and discourage a lot of people from investing in Delta State. And though the government is doing a lot more still need to be done. I will add something to what he says as a legal practitioner. I will say that he has said you should run to the police first. With my experience, I will say in the court too, you still have justice in the court. You see the people there. All you need to be diligent, know their name. Go to the court, file an action against them. We all, I will tell you a case in point now. If you go to Port Harcourt, where you have the NDDC building, it was owned by a permanent secretary. Abacha confiscated it and gave it to his son Ibrahim. Behind the building, there's another 3-story, which is the Ibrahim Abacha's residence. That means he can just walk from the office to his house. But at the end of the day, judgment was given to the permanent secretary who owns the land. The law said, so the man who owns the land is the one who owns what is on it. So you can be going and building and roofing, provided the matter is already in court. Court will decide one way or the other.
Okay. Even by the time the judgment is given in your favor, you can now possess the building.
Yes, the building becomes yours. It's either the man will renegotiate with you. If you decide to sell to him, fine. But if you decide not to sell to him, he's not allowed to even remove one door.
Okay.
Because you are the owner.
Well, before we start looking at the solution to this challenge, I think we have to open up the line for our viewer to make contribution and even ask questions on how they can go about when they are in a similar situation in the hands of land racketeers. The number to call is 0812-106-9621. The number again is 0812-106-9621. The second number that you can also call is 0807-843-4277. You can call to make your contribution, and the topic is land racketeering in Asaba and Envrons and challenges of development. We have in the studio Chief Engineer Joseph Obi, Chairman Non-Indigenous Association of Delta State Asaba Branch, and Mr. Abagidi, Barrister and Solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So you can call to ask questions on how we can really curb this menace that is already affecting the development of this area and Delta State in general. Though the anti-devil law is in place and the task force has been set up, but the presence of the task force is what the people are seeing. They have not really had seen them enough to really help in ameliorating the sufferings developers are going through in the hands of these land racketeers. So what, in your own opinion, should be the way we can curb this menace?
Well, I want to say that the best thing to do, if you buy a land, please go ahead and develop your land. If you delay, problem will always set in. And it's not good for us in this state.
Let's try this.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Lost it. Sorry, continue.
Yes. So if you are ready to buy a land, please be ready to build. If you did not start building immediately, then the next thing is that you stand a chance of having problem. The land might be encumbered. Somebody from somewhere unknown will just step in and begin to drag ownership. So that is my opinion.
So what about those who don't have money to build, but they have the money to buy land and with the intention to build in subsequent years?
Owning a land in Asaba is now becoming like a Ponzi scheme. If you are going to buy a land, you must go deeper. You must investigate. Unfortunately, the traditional rulers or the Diopars, they have their own inadequacies. What are their inadequacies? They don't have the whole knowledge of the land until the case is presented to them. So if you are a prospective buyer, if you now say, let me go and meet the elders do not have the records to know if this one is this or this one is that. So the thing still boil back, to the government. If they have a cadastral system where all lands are surveyed and kept somewhere, certainly there will be a breakthrough.
Let's see. Hello? Okay. Barrister, continue.
Yes. That's where there will be a breakthrough. The Land Use Act actually was a foundation.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, your name and location, please. Your name? Please turn down the volume of your TV set. Yeah, continue, please.
This land issue, the matter of land you are talking to.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But as today, whenever you buy land, after buying without development, the next person will come and buy land again. That's those people buy one land with that. It's very bad. That's the problem. As today, it happened to my own village. I'm selling my land to another person. Very individual, very bad. I don't know what
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution. Let me take this. Hello? Hello? You heard what he said. He's also a victim of
Land problem.
And unfortunately, he did not tell us how he was able to resolve his problem.
Like I said,
You are talking about the Diopars and all that.
yes,
So
the Diopars.
let's take this. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
If please turn down the volume of TV set, sir.
Okay. I'm calling I'm from Anambra, calling from Ibuzo.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this one I want to is about all the deal about 18. There is a plot of land I buy from adult or whatever. But at last, you find out that the man is even criminal more than his boy. Because they will sell land for you. Collected money. They will send another people to come and pay that. I pay, but I come to ask myself whether I buy land or I do something. The last people came and meet me there. Came with gun. If I didn't know, the guy just came gun outside saying, if I talk again, I just look at the guy and say, ask government. I just respect government. If not respect my government, I'll kill this guy. Yeah, I'm from Anambra, let me tell you. I'm from Ayamelo. And we are you people, we are done according to history. My father told me, anybody from Anamu, and above from Ilu State, we are brothers. But why you people are treating in this way? That's one doesn't concern you. If I talk again, and after the guy says, let me tell you, I'm not hearing about this. If you talk about this one again, I will kill you first. But then I called the job I went there the land for me. Do you know what the man tell me? These people say that I will give them 50,000. In fact, as I'm talking to you now, I don't pay them more than 500,000. Then the people say I will pay them 50,000. I said, okay, let me forget that now. Not a problem with it. Let me mind the business I came to do them. Do you know what the man said? I should pay 50,000, let me give them 50,000 and forget about it. Why are you talking like this? The man changes for me. If I talk again, they will collect the land from me and sell it back. I just say, okay. These people, I see that these people are mad. Maybe they won't put out. I just forget the land for them. But they don't know that I not really forget the land for them. I will call it another way. Shall forget them. So I want government, maybe, if they want to sell or sell again, or maybe we monitor all those guys. Maybe you pay this one will come, that one, another one will come, another one will come. Then maybe let government have task force to control all these drugs, even using guns and tracing their customers. Because if not the kind of person I am, I know that will be danger to me. But I can defend myself in any way, in any part of contract, in any part of country I see myself. That's why the thing just go easy for me. So maybe those government punishment, maybe when it comes to that situation, I believe some people will die and able to feel. Because in the time of money, okay, the other one can this one that paying is not paying, it's not paying. When you go to go there, you will pay. When you leave the place, you will pay. And take that kind of thing.
So I think that is why the anti-devil law is in place. Recently, they have set up a task force to help checkmate the excesses of these boys who are going around to tax people. So in no distant time, I think I believe that the problem will be reduced to the barest minimum across the state.
Can I just listen to me?
He will hear you.
Yes. Listen to me, my dear. The task force men, the team, they are not spirits. They are human beings. And like me and you know, they cannot be everywhere at the same time. When you have such experience, when you have such problem, I want to advise you, please run to the police. Like you said, most of the DORs has compromised. Most of them are inhuman. They are ungodly. Yeah, they are inhuman, they are ungodly. They are desperate and wicked people. So if you rely on them, you might lose your life inside bush. You will lose your money, you lose the land. So first of all, when you have such experience, especially somebody bringing out gun, threatening your life should be paramount. It should be the first thing to protect. You will have run to police, and that is the duty of the police. And I can tell you, Delta State Police Command will not fail you. Run to them and you will see.
I'm not just Nigerian police. I cannot do. Instead of you for Nigerian police, instead I complete to ordinary security.
Okay.
Better than our Nigerian police.
Thank you very much for.
They are working with them.
Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I want to add by saying that if you are coming, my experience have shown that a lot of people from Anambra and beyond,
from the east,
across the Nigeria,
yes,
suffer this thing.
Yes.
And it's contributory. Now, like this last caller now, you are coming to buy land, you didn't know there's going to be devil. That means you didn't investigate the land thoroughly. Because if you had used somebody, if you have used the professional, they will investigate thoroughly and know that, look, this land, after buying, I bought from Obana, after buying, the person who sold to me, I told him when I want to start bidding, you will stand there. He said, okay, I will give him something. You know, I had all those ones in advance.
So let's see whether this one will go through. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
I am still coming back again. This what they are saying now. It's not only from the east. This is happening to both in our area, Delta State.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set, sir.
I've done the news. It's not only Delta State.
We know. It's happening in other parts of the country.
It's happening here.
Yeah.
You're correct. Even in Lagos, the Omonile.
Yes.
In Lagos, the Omonile, the Port Harcourt, it happens. But what we are saying is that the law will checkmate them. When you have a situation like that, run to the law enforcement agents and cooperate with them. If you run to them, you cooperate with them. We are not saying you should give them money. Cooperate with them and they will assist you to a large extent. We don't encourage bloodshed. We don't encourage anarchy in Delta State. We want Delta State to be as peaceful as the governor had advised us to make the place peaceful for people like you. Thank you.
So what I'm saying is contributory. You are coming to buy land, you did not investigate. Sometimes you know where you are coming from. What I experience is that these Omonile or these boys that are demanding for the they know that you are so desperate. They will not tell you this land is 1 million. When normally you know the land there should not go for anything less than 3 million. Because they said 1 million and you did not want to investigate, you give them 1 million. The next time you come again, they will not tell you, sorry, by the time you now know the land is a Kumba, they will not relocate you far inside the forest, inside the bush. You will now be compelled to either accept that place or start fighting for this place. So the thing is both sides. Those that are coming to buy do not investigate, do not bother to know. Some of them pay these boys without even knowing where they reside.
Okay, but the experience will be shared with us here.
Obi has not shared his experience.
No, he did. He bought, built, and sold to a church, and the church now demolished his own building. We intend to erect a new structure there with a gate, first with gate.
Yes.
But this people now came and sold the land to another individual.
This the way Obi is saying is a peculiar place. It is totally different because this same place, the government said this is government land, government acquired land.
No.
All persons in that area came to regularize. His portion he bought now fell out of maybe a small piece that there was acquired or the government did not acquire. So when a bunch of people got this judgment and they are not coming, the person who sold is the rightful owner. Is the rightful owner who sold?
That's Obi.
No, the person who sold
to Obi.
Obi. Who sold after Obi have sold? By the judgment. By the times of the judgment, he is the owner.
After ratifying.
Because he has gone to rectify. The person shouldn't have sold it. But the title should have flown from the Igbo's people who are the owners.
So,
and based on that one, based on that, this thing is so there were some misplaced here and there.
Which means you didn't understand what Obi said.
You didn't understand what I
Obi said that after the court judgment, he now regularized his own. He was the people that gave him document to say you are the rightful owner. And nobody has come since that time to disturb him.
Yes.
until he sold. And before those people came, I have a building there.
You understand? So which his own case is different from this one these people are talking about now. Okay. You understand? So that we get it clearer, not to confuse our viewers.
Yes, not to.
So you were talking about how we are now looking at how we can cope this problem. You understand?
This problem can be coped. The areas where Omonile operate in Lagos is the areas where there is no cadastral, there is no registration. In the areas in Abuja, they say a battle over land, the same land being allotted to this different person, fine, but not on this kind of nature of somebody selling and reselling because of the cadastral survey. The government have tried it out, bring it.
So cadastral survey will put an end to this challenge.
Cadastral will reduce it to the barest minimum, because once it's cadastral and it's registration, if you want to buy in Lagos, in the areas where they have the registration proper, if you want to buy my land, I will give you permission to go to the registry to go and confirm
whether it's genuine.
Is genuine or not.
Okay.
So with the cadastral, the government had the cadastral in their system. If the law can just be immediately I buy. You know, when we have these things, we try to cure the defect. Immediately if you want to sell your land to me, I will say, give me the survey plan. You give me the survey plan. I will go to the cadastral survey. Go there, I pay whatever money I want to pay. They will check. When they check, they now know that somebody has surveyed this land and lodged already. Then I will not go ahead. Then there will be no racketeering again. But if there is nowhere, because like I told you, the Diokpas too have their own inadequacies. If you say, okay, I want to be diligent so that I'll buy genuine land, you now go to the Diokpa. The Diokpa does not have a record. You now go to the Ogwani. The Ogwani himself does not have the record. It's only when there is an issue over the land, the parties start bringing their record, that the Ogwani can act on it. As at that time, you have lost your millions.
My own opinion here, my take here is that if you are doing due diligence over a particular property, if you go to Dioba, you take the Dioba to the land and show them the land you want to buy. Because I have an experience, most of the Diobas will say, okay, can you carry us to that land? And you take them there to see the land. And who said he wants to sell to you? He says Mr. A or Mr. B. And they will now tell you, look at the head of that kindred or that quarter. Then the head will come to confirm that yes, this land belongs to possibly one Aboko family or Ezekiel family or Obi family, whatever family, they will confirm before you go ahead to buy. And if you do such due diligence, you will not always have problem. Before this time, we were not having problem in Delta State. Before this time, before these young boys now that have felt, it's just like what is happening in the north. Because they see that they are making money from kidnapping and armed robbery. When they kidnap you, they demand for 100 million. So the boys in Delta State now, there is no militancy again. They now see that if they sell one plot of land, they they make 5 million, they make 10 million. Some of them will go and buy a car that they cannot maintain. 20 million naira car, 30 million, and they have no investment, and they have no handwork. You see, this is what is causing the land racketeering. If they are being prosecuted, if they are arrested, and the police do their job properly like they used to do, get these people arrested, charge them to court, and remain them in prison, it will serve as a deterrent, so that land racketeering will reduce to a large extent. That's my humble opinion.
For government itself, that have set up, come up with an act to checkmate the activities of this boy.
Yes.
That is not really, acting as it were. The task force set up to do this? Though you have said that the number may not be enough to police the whole area. So what do you think they should do also to ensure that
at the moment,
they have a very wide coverage?
At the moment that they are using the task force is just covering an area of development that when you want to develop, they come and disturb you. That does not prove you are still the owner, because you can finish developing and the real owner still come, and the racketeering can still breed. So in order to stop the tax force, these boys coming for develop, they may even end up recruiting from the village. Itself. If you recruit from the village itself, they'll be able to identify the people who goes inside the bush and do the task force and ask for this. They know them. They are not.
So they should domesticate the task force within the communities.
Within the communities.
Exactly.
They should reduce it to within the communities. They have them. They know them. They are
not spirits.
What a partnership between the government and community leaders, because government cannot do everything for us. Assuming the community leaders set up task force will also help those who are developing in their area, because this law has outlawed payment of development fee to individuals or even groups. So assuming the community leaders say, okay, for us to protest developers in our area, let's set up a task force that will help us monitor the activities of these boys. Don't you think that will also go a long way in solving this problem? So let's take this. We lost it.
Okay.
If you say you want to set up a task force, the community should set up a task force to engage some people to do that.
To complement the development.
Are you going to engage them on full-time or part-time? If you are going to engage them, are you giving them any stipends? Because they too will be risking their life, or the time they will spend in earning income, you are taking their time. So if they are going to partner even with the local community, the local people, they should be giving something.
Okay.
And which can be done, like I said, if we have the fast track now, which is bringing some money to government, people are now registering and now knowing that you want to register for CFO, you want to obtain your CFO, it does not take years to obtain it. It's fast track, they fast track it. The government can still take one step ahead and say, look, we have cadastral now. By the time you do this thing, when we are coming to check for the, if you want to check your survey plan, you pay something. Then thereafter, for me to register it, so that if somebody else comes, I can pay some money, maybe 50,000 for the land, for within 2 years. Within 2 years, I should be able to complete my CFO. That will reduce racketeering to the barest minimum. If I'm saying all these boys that are going for develop, maybe we just convert to an estate agent and be selling genuine land and be earning something. In that too, they will relieve the police of their pressure of always investigating land matters, which police does. And I know there's no person who has gone to the police and has not had the other side of the experience. Because how can you go and arrest your vendor to court, you arrest your vendor to police, and police now collect bail from your vendor. This same vendor is the person that will be one of your witness in the civil case. How does it go? So if the police did not solve the issue there, then you are jeopardy at the court, because you need witness. I know there's one I did with the vendor ran away for over 10 years until we finally, with his aid, we caught the vendor. After over 10 years, we caught the vendor. So without your vendor, you can't win your case.
Yes.
Let's try this.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, your name and location, please. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
want to say that
Please, sir, we can't hear you.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead, yeah.
Yes. There is a wonderful formation or unit, if you like, you call them task force, that was set up by Ibuzo people. I want to commend that group.
How effective is it?
They are very effective. They said it's a CWC, I think Central Working Committee.
Let's take this, sorry.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? We lost it, continue.
So it's called CWC. They say Central Working Committee or so. So each time you want to acquire a property from Ibuzo, the Diopa or the chairman of the community there will send you with the members of CWC to go and identify the land properly. And if the CWC, you pay all their fees like the development levy, as the case may be, although the government had abolished development levy. But in order to make peace, in order to, government cannot be everywhere. Some of us will call it sacrifice. We'll pay some of this money, sacrifice, in order to avoid problem. So if they take you to the land and identify it, if you have a problem and call them, they will always come. And like I can tell you, if you have the sincere ones among them, you will never have problem. The issue is that the country is corrupt. You have lizard in every community.
Okay.
Yes.
The network is.
You have lizard in every community. That is the issue. But I want to tell you there are still good people in all our communities around. Okbana, Mibuzo, or Asaba, there are good people.
Okay. Well, the time is not on our side. And I want to come to Barrister to give us his final word and advice on how we can, really solve the problem between the vendor, the buyer, the community, and government.
Okay, I will start from the government. First, we'll give kudos to them for this new law, checkmating these developed boys in the bush. A lot of things happen in the bush. The law is a welcome development, and it's checkmating it. I think by the time they put the house in order, that area will be reduced to the barest minimum. I equally want to encourage the government to go about cadastral surveying. We'll know all the boundaries in our land and put an end to a racketeering thing that has become so penury in our life now. Then on the issue of the buyers, I will advise them, like you just mentioned, the Central Working Committee in Ibuzo. Get information before you buy land. If I want to buy a land in Ibuzo, then I will go to the committee. The committee may even tell me the one that is genuine or not. Then after buying, I'm sure those people will not come. So I will encourage every prospective buyer to do due diligence. And don't just jump in and buy, because it's your sweat, your wealth that you want to throw away. So do some due diligence before going into land business in Asaba. That's my word for
that. My father will always tell us, the children, that the drug or medicine you give to somebody that is sick to be well is the same drug you give to another person that will die. So in most cases, no matter how due diligence you do, no matter the kind of stringent steps you take, at times you always fall a victim. All we need to do at this point is to continue to pray to Almighty God to guide us so that we don't enter into the wrong hands. Because the country is funny now, and people are trying to make ends meet at all costs. Even some of them don't have reputation, they don't have name, they don't even have background. So they can go ahead and do anything because they want to make money, or they want to drive big cars, even when they don't merit it. So my advice is that, to a large extent, people should always do due diligence, do their search. Especially, I want to advise people should consult a lawyer. A lawyer will follow them to search properly, and also get to the community to be sure that the land you're buying is owned by that community, and the individual or the clan, or you may call it the community, the village, the quarter that owns the land. If a lawyer follows you to do due diligence, then you might not have much problem. And I want to tell you finally that if in any case you have a problem, please don't take laws into your hand. We want Delta State to be a very peaceful state. Run to the police, and police will do you the best, will do you favor, and make sure that they maintain law and order. But if you have a problem anywhere in Ibuzo, I think the best man to ever call is Chief Fred Ajudua. He is Owaneitirora, Owoyoko of Ibuzo. He's always standing for justice. He doesn't want cheating. He doesn't want people being marginalized or mistreated. So run to Fred Ajudua. He is a good man, and he will help you come out of whatever problem in Ibuzo. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You pay for advertising Fred Ajudua. Thank you very much. I want to thank Chief Engineer Joseph Obi for coming to this program today, and also Mr. Emma Abagidi, Barrister and Solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Thank you for really adding value to this episode of the Meeting Point.
Thank you.
If you are a prospective buyer of land in Asaba or any part of Delta State, ensure that due diligence is embarked upon, so that you don't fall victim of land racketeering. And if you are developing and there are challenges, please don't take laws into your hands to avoid the story that touch. Engage the police. Reach out to the task force set up by the Delta State government on at the VE, so that you can get justice. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of the Meeting Point. My name is Michael Ikog.